Welcome to the Global Happiness Crusade, the systems that shape us. We are shaped by the systems we live and work within, often without realising it. The businesses we work for, the schools we grew up in, the media we consume, the governments we elect, the technologies we rely on, the social platforms we scroll through every day. These systems don't just influence what we do, they shape how we feel. Yet for too long, happiness has been left out of the equation. At the Global Happiness Crusade, we believe it's time for a different conversation. One that puts human flourishing at the heart of how we build, lead and live. In this series, we'll explore 6 of the most powerful systems shaping our modern world. We'll look at what's working, what's broken and what's possible. This isn't just about critique, it's about hope, it's about redesign, because if systems shape us, we can shape them back. Join me and let's imagine what these systems could look like if they were built for happiness. To go deeper, grab the full research highlights from the Global Happiness Crusade. You'll find the links in the show notes below for all 6 sector guides. Welcome to the Global Happiness Crusade, the systems that shape us. Business and happiness. Let's talk about work. For many of us, it's where we spend most of our waking hours. It shapes our identity, our mental health, our relationships, even our sense of purpose. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Too many people feel drained by the very thing that's meant to support their lives. The workplace, once a symbol of growth and stability, has become, for many, a source of stress, burnout and quiet disconnection. And yet, the potential for transformation is immense. Around the world, a new kind of business is emerging. Companies that measure people, planet and profit, not just revenue. Leaders who understand that when you look after your staff, they'll look after everything else. Movements like the Better Business Act are gaining momentum. Virgin's 100% human at work reminds us that we're not resources, we're human beings. Certified B Corp are proving that ethical success isn't a fantasy, it's a viable, scalable model. We're seeing signs of change. 4-day work weeks, mental health days, values-based leadership. Some companies even measure gross workplace happiness, not just key performance indicators. So what's the vision? Imagine a world where business leaders are custodians of meaning, not just managers of performance. Where company cultures value emotional intelligence as much as financial acumen. Where every employee feels a sense of purpose, belonging and room to grow. At the Global Happiness Crusade, we believe business can be a healing force, not just a place to work, but a place to become. A space where people create, collaborate and flourish. And the best part? This isn't wishful thinking. It's already happening, just not everywhere yet. If we design workplaces for happiness, we don't just improve productivity. We reshape lives, we strengthen communities, and we redefine success for the next generation. To explore this vision in more detail, you can grab the full Business and Happiness Spotlight by clicking the links in the show notes below. And remember, work shouldn't just be a means to an end. It can be a source of joy, connection and meaning if we build it that way. This is the Global Happiness Crusade. Welcome to The Systems That Shape Us, Education and Happiness. So let's talk about education. Not the grades or the uniforms, but the system itself and the experience it offers. Education shapes who we become. It guides how we think, how we create, and how we see our place in the world. But here's the problem. Too much of our education system is still rooted in industrial age thinking. It was built for a different time, a time of factories, conformity and compliance. Today, we're in the digital age, the age of AI, a world that needs creativity, emotional intelligence and adaptability more than ever. And yet our schools still reward memorization over imagination. We still prioritise exams over self-awareness. We train children to find the right answer, but rarely ask them what questions matter most. And the result? Too many young people leave school feeling unseen, uninspired, and unprepared for real life. But it doesn't have to be this way. Voices like Sir Ken Robinson have shown us a better path, one where creativity is as important as literacy, where we honour different kinds of intelligence, and where education is about cultivating potential and an entrepreneurial spirit, not just passing tests. Some schools are already making this shift with product-based learning and emotional literacy programs, teaching purpose, values and mindfulness, and integrating creativity, collaboration and curiosity. At the Global Happiness Crusade, we believe education should prepare children for life, not just for exams. That means helping them understand themselves, helping them express ideas, helping them deal with failure, helping them imagine the kind of world they want to build. Imagine a school where happiness is a goal, not just an accidental outcome, where emotional safety is prioritised alongside academic challenge, where purpose and passion are seen as core curriculum, and where students graduate not just with qualifications, but with confidence, compassion and clarity. We know this is possible. We've seen it in action, and now it's time to scale it. Because if we redesign education around happiness, we don't just raise test scores, we raise future leaders, we raise resilient thinkers, and we raise humans who are ready to thrive. To explore more of what's working and what could be, to grab the education and happiness spotlight, click the links in the show notes below. Let's stop preparing kids for jobs that may not exist and start preparing them to live lives that truly matter. Welcome to the Global Happiness Crusade. These are the systems that shape us. Media and happiness. So let's talk about media. News, headlines, 24-hour cycles, clickbait. The stories we hear and the way we hear them shape how we feel about the world. And too often, what we're given is fear, outrage and division. Why? Because bad news drives clicks, conflict grabs attention, and negativity sells. But the cost? It's immense. Rising anxiety, mistrust, a sense that the world is broken, even when signs of progress surround us. Now, this isn't about ignoring the truth, it's about balancing it. Because alongside the crises, there are also breakthroughs of kindness, resilience, solutions and hope. And yet those stories rarely make the front page. What would it look like if media didn't just inform but uplifted? If it helped us see the full picture, not just what's going wrong but also what's going right? Some media outlets are already doing this with solutions journalism, constructive storytelling, coverage of innovation, empathy and community healing. But we need more. The Global Happiness Crusade believes media has a moral responsibility to reflect reality, yes, but also to preserve hope. Because hope is not naive. Hope is what makes progress possible. Imagine a responsible media culture where headlines tell us what's working, not just what's failing. Where newsrooms prioritise truth and impact over speed and sensation. Where young people grow up with a balanced worldview, not a distorted one. When media nurtures trust, when it informs and uplifts, it becomes part of the solution, not just a mirror to the problem. We believe storytelling can heal, it can unite, it can inspire a better way forward, but only if we use it that way. To see the full vision, explore the Media and Happiness Spotlight from the Global Happiness Crusade. Check the show notes for direct access to the links. Let's move from crisis reporting to constructive storytelling and build a media culture that strengthens our collective well-being. This is the Global Happiness Crusade, and these are the systems that shape us. Social media and happiness. Let's talk about social media. It began as a way to connect, to share photos, status updates and snippets of our lives. But over time, social media has become something much bigger and far more complicated. Today, it's where many of us find our news, express our identity, seek validation or simply scroll to escape. It's a space filled with potential, but also pressure. And for many, especially young people, it's becoming a source of comparison, anxiety and overwhelm. We've built platforms that reward outrage, amplify division and push dopamine-driven loops that keep us scrolling, even when it's draining our energy and focus. The numbers speak for themselves. Studies link excessive use to depression, loneliness and lower life satisfaction, especially amongst teens. But let's be clear, social media isn't all bad. It can connect communities, raise awareness, foster creativity and give people a voice. It all comes down to how it's designed and how we use it. The Global Happiness Crusade believes we need a conscious reset. Imagine platforms that prioritise well-being over engagement, promote respectful dialogue over rage clicks, offer users tools to manage their time, their mindset and mental health. Some apps are already experimenting with time limits, hidden like counts and AI filters for toxic content. But real change means rethinking the incentives. Because right now, the more polarised we are, the more profitable it becomes. We want to shift the focus from addiction to intention, from endless scrolling to mindful connecting, from algorithmic manipulation to digital empowerment. Imagine a world where teens use platforms to build confidence, not comparison, where creators are rewarded for empathy, not outrage, where our feeds reflect balance, not just buzz, We created these tools and we can redesign them. Because if social media is shaping our minds, then we need to shape it with care. If this resonates with you, explore the Social Media and Happiness Spotlight from the Global Happiness Crusade. Check out the show notes below for the direct link. Let's reclaim our attention, protect our young people, and build digital spaces that help us feel better, not worse. This is the Global Happiness Crusade, and these are the systems that shape us. Government and happiness. So let's talk about government. At its best, it's meant to serve, to protect, to empower, to shape a society where people can live with dignity, purpose and hope. But somewhere along the line, many citizens stopped believing that. Trust is eroding, disillusionment is rising, and far too often government feels reactive, disconnected, even performative. Why? Because for years we've been measuring the wrong things. We track gross domestic product. We obsess over economic growth. We headline unemployment rates, inflation and trade deals. But we don't measure happiness or belonging or well-being. And what we fail to measure, we fail to prioritise. Lord Dear, a man who spent decades in public service, recently shared with me that today's political landscape feels deeply uncomfortable. Why? Because politics has become a career ladder, not a calling. Many modern leaders enter office with little life experience, no grounding in real-world systems, and no vision beyond party lines. But people are hungry for authentic leadership. They want consistency. They want clarity and honesty. They want realistic manifestos that deliver, not disappear in U-turns. They want policies that reflect real lives, not just headlines. At the Global Happiness Crusade, we believe government must return to its true purpose, to serve the happiness and well-being of its people. What if we tracked gross national happiness with the same verve and seriousness as gross domestic product? What if every public policy considered emotional and mental health impacts as rigorously as the financial costs? What if political manifestos included clear commitments to well-being metrics and stuck to them? This isn't just idealism. Nations like Bhutan have already pioneered this approach. Cities across Europe and the Americas are experimenting with well-being budgeting. It's not about being soft, it's about being wise. Because when people are thriving, society is stronger, economies are more resilient, and democracy regains its meaning. Imagine a government where policy is designed around people, not polling, where civility replaces polarisation, where long-term well-being trumps short-term wins, and the moral compass is not lost but restored. We believe it's possible. We've seen the signs. Now we need the will. Let's raise our expectations. Let's hold our leaders accountable. Let's reshape governance as a force for collective happiness. To explore this vision in depth, you can access the Government and Happiness Spotlight from the Global Happiness Crusade by checking out the show notes for a direct link. Because democracy should do more than manage systems. It should elevate lives, and it starts with what and who we choose to value. This is the Global Happiness Crusade, and these are the systems that shape us. Technology and happiness. Let's talk about technology. It's everywhere. In our pockets, in our homes, in our conversations, work, health, habits, even our attention span. We live in an age of breathtaking innovation. Artificial intelligence, wearables, automation, machine learning. Technology is accelerating, but the question is it helping us feel better or just to move faster and to feel more drained? So far, the record is mixed. We've designed systems that maximise efficiency, but often minimise humanity. We've created platforms that capture our attention, but don't always care for our well-being. We track our steps, but not our joy. We're more connected, but often more alone. And while AI promises convenience, it also brings questions about identity, purpose, and displacement. But let's be clear, technology is not the enemy. It's a tool. The real challenge is this: what values are shaping what we build? The Global Happiness Crusade believes technology should serve people, not just productivity. Imagine a digital world designed to enhance focus, to strengthen empathy, and to encourage reflection and support mental health. Imagine apps that protect our attention as fiercely as they protect our passwords. Tools that help us grow, not just consume. Platforms that guide us to wisdom, not just content. Some companies are starting to pivot, building ethical tech frameworks, introducing humane design principles, reducing addictive features, and promoting screen time balance. But we can go further. We can prioritise tech for well-being as much as we do for profit or scale. We can build technologies that restore our energy, spark creativity, and deepen our human potential. The goal isn't to unplug, it's to reimagine the plug itself. Technology can be our greatest ally in building a happier world, but only if we design it with care, intention, and heart. If this message resonates, explore the Technology and Happiness Spotlight from the Global Happiness Crusade by checking out the show notes below for links. Let's stop asking, can we build it? And start asking, should we? Because the future isn't just digital, it's emotional, and the systems we create now will shape how we feel for generations to come.